doodly do. And ow, last night she said, "Oh, when you feel down." Last night she said, "Oh, baby, when I feel so low." What's he say? I feel left out. I just had it. Last night she said, "Oh, baby, when you feel so down, when you turn me out, that I feel left out." And I turned around, and I turned around. It's two times I turned around. Ah, that Casablancas. He is a beautiful man. Was. I don't know. He looks a little heroined out, if you ask me. You know, couldn't relate. Um, I could never. Um, no. Uh, Boom. Back at it again with the live videos. Um, Bob Songer at it again. Um, no, I didn't shave my. Obviously, that was that was from last year. And Flowers for You, that was like 10, 15 years ago. So yeah, I'm about to shave my head though. Um, yeah, gotcha. I don't know. where where does he get off? Back at it again. Yeah. So like what? Didn't shave my head, but I'm going to. I'm going to. Sorry to mislead you. A lot of people are pretty excited to see I got a haircut. I might do it live. Fuck it. Uh, no, same dusty ass hairdo, same terrible painting. Like, y'all gotta start calling me out for shit. I'm getting too comfy out here. You know, no one will face me. Like, no one will cross me. I've become very powerful over the years. Um, Let me activate my hand centers. Have y'all been meditating? Like I told you? Have y'all been practicing breath work? Acupressure? Don't do needles no more. So it evolved from acupuncture to doom doom doo doo doom doom acupressure. That's kind of funny, huh? That's kind of funny. That, that was worth a million, I think. I should be a millionaire by now for that one alone. But what of the treasure trove of untold knowledge that's still in this bad boy, old Solomon's temp, the temporal opening. Shut the. Okay. See, I gotta call myself out because like only he. uh, so I've I've come under the tutelage of a spiritual mentor, as luck would have it, and I met I met a soul. He's a good buddy of mine now. We've connected um, a lot over the past week. Old man named Alton, and this man is moved by the Lord, you know. And I'm so envious, like I'm jealous of his command of the word. Um, he could quote scripture, which, you know, I will do. I will get to a point where you can't argue with a guy who quotes scripture, man, because nothing in that damn book, forgive me, Lord, nothing in that book, like, is easily questioned. You know what book I'm talking about? Yeah, not, no, not that one. Guess again. Bingo. That's the one. That's actually the book. Chill. Um, read lots of books, people, but there's just one I'm infatuated with, and just dying to tell you about. um, I'll give you a hint. It's not Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl, although that is a page turner. Get to the point. For those keeping up, start again. For those keeping up, my last video, I taught you, I outlined the finer points of witchcraft. The point, the video after that, I exposed Trump as the Antichrist. So, the only logical next step in this progression is, shit, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even feel that y'all are ready for the gnosis. It's a lot of work. Are you ready to undertake a lot of work? I hope you are. I hope you ain't so worn out, thinking of throwing in the towel so soon. But yeah, the drunken ramblings of a hopeless narcissist. Um, no, but I do love myself. You want to know how I'm able to do this? Why? It's because I fucking love myself, okay? You should too. Love yourself. Like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna love me either way, but especially when I get this cut. I look like a doofus right now, but let's not forget how the world was in my hands once upon a time. Um, so what are we learning? So today was crazy. We were in the Bible. I watched the movie Book of Eli, which was a pretty freaking killer movie. Especially when you're on a similar journey as I am, because you know, one hopeless sinner is not equal to another. You know, so obviously there's going to be different views. Um, but a theme of that movie, Book of Eli, starring Denzel, was it was just a power like surrounding this book. This character Eli had like the last known Bible. Like, oh, it was so cool. Can I just act out like what I remember of the Book of Eli? Gary Oldman, fantastic actor, one of my absolute favorites. he wanted Eli's book. He wanted Eli's copy of the Bible because he knew how freaking powerful it was. But he was wicked. Like, he was, for whatever reason, the Lord bestowed him with a reprobate mind. And he saw the Bible as a weapon, you know. Because, like I said, if you can quote scripture, it is very different. It's you about damn hopeless trying to argue with someone who's quoting the Bible. I used to love toying with the idea of um, finding contradictions within the Bible. Like, oh, the Bible is, you know, it's like, let's have fun tearing this down. You can't. You can't. Okay, greater minds than than yours, have tried, and they wound up fighting for the other team by the end of their pursuits. Um, so Gary Oldman realized this, his character did anyway, and saw the potentiality for weaponization of it. Because a point my friend Alton made was the devil himself could talk you into some shit. Well, this should come to a surprise to nobody, but if the devil himself could speak and manipulate the words of the Bible, um, you you know, the basic human mind would be powerless. You do whatever the devil says because he would just sound so right, so hard to argue with. So that in the hands of an evil, wicked, reprobate mind, you know, that suffers iniquity. It's a very dangerous thing. Um, what else do we learn? This live is a wash. I don't care if you scroll. You know, seriously, won't be mad. Um, also learned there's a strange translation issue going on with the Bible. Okay, basically, Hebrew and Latin are among the best translations, the first translations, and like the King's Good English is like sitting right at the bottom of the barrel, pretty much, as far as translations. So, like the true language of the Bible is like Hebrew, basically. And this interests me heavily. So there's a passage um, talking about um, Adam and Eve. And it said, when Adam left the garden, when Adam and Eve were cast out of the garden. Now, you could try to call me out on this if you please. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess it says that God was quoted saying, now they're like us. Now that Adam and Eve have become sinful creatures and left the garden, they've been made like us. And it's like, us? Who the heck? Forgive me. Who's us? Like in the Hebrew, it's like it's worded as plural. So it's like, what is us? Is it like an us that includes like all things that exist outside of the garden? Like, is it all mortal thing? Did God just like call himself like mortal? Or did he call us gods? Like, it's very tough. Um, there's another passage in the Bible. I can't tell you where to find it because I ain't that good yet. But it says very plainly, God placed us like right, mm, like right below the angels. But it's not true. That's a bad translation. Because everyone knows that God favors us above the angels. The angels are jealous of us. The angels up in the clouds are jealous now that we found something so out of the ordinary. Y'all like that song? Butchering it, like I do all things. Um, uh, so yeah, put this in fast mo. While I get myself together. A more appropriate translation. We're the fairest of all God's creatures. Okay, like I'm convinced. Gave us dominion over this world. So, and this is what I pointed out to Alton. Um, like the pluralism that's applied to some of these words. God, the translation did not say that we are placed below the angels. It said we are placed below the Elohim, which is plural, and the Elohim translates to the gods, as if there are many. And these are God's words. So again, I don't know if the word is equating angels like to gods. Maybe they're all gods. I don't know, guys. First he says like, oh, they left the garden, now they're like us. I suppose which one came first is pertinent information as well. Could be that God decreed that we are just a little bit below the Elohim, the very gods of this universe. Then we partook of the forbidden fruit. And then he was like, dang. So now they're like us, the gods. We're like gods. And that's the Bible. Jesus himself said that you will perform miracles. You will perform all this and more. Okay? I know, it seems like I'm rushing to the conclusion that we're gods. Like, it's like, it's like I want to believe that I'm some kind of god or something. Wouldn't that be crazy to want that? Whether we want it or not, I think the proof is in the yogurt. Um, so yeah, I got in this huge argument. It's futile. It's futile. Only me and him could have this conversation. I don't suspect anyone to have any input or anything to add to this conversation. If you do, I beg of you, I beg of you to join the conversation. Hear me out. Listen all the way through because this is a call for help. This is a SOS on my behalf. Okay? I need you. Um, I was like, God had to have had a plan for his greatest creation. You know, everything's preordained by God. So God must have known that we would eat of that forbidden fruit. So it's like, why is he mad? I don't think he is mad, but he knew that when we were given the free will, that we would make that mistake and there would be irreversible consequences. And for whatever reason, that was the plan. He said, "Oh, you ate of the fruit. For that, the snake will crawl on its belly for the rest of eternity. For that, women will suffer at childbirth. Women will suffer at the hands of men, of horrible, horrible men. And man would suffer the earth that that spit out like thistles and thorns like from the earth, and he also added that that's where we came from and that's where we're going to return. Point blank period. And Alton just seemed so distraught. He was like, because Adam and Eve could have existed in the garden forever. Come on, man. You put me in a garden, I'm a partake of every fruit bearing plant in that garden eventually. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Eventually. You, you don't need to take a sneak peek into God's ordained plan to see that one coming. Okay? And reminded me of my son. It's like, I'm Adam, okay? There's a theory that we inherit the sins of our fathers. Um, what's what's the first word of Genesis? You take the root word of Genesis, genes. You inherit the genes of your father. And if Adam was the one true man, See, I would have inherited his sins if Christ didn't die on the cross. That is, I have a whole video I need to make on the cross, because as a symbol, my God. But as a man, as Bob McKibben, living in the year 2020, whatever, I was kind of in paradise, right? But I partook of that fruit. My son's mother was tempted by the serpent. If you a particular that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. To insinuate. I just want to be clear. I didn't say it. Point blank. And that angel that I call my son could have existed in the garden forever. But because I was tempted, to be like God, that I could create a human life and was tempted by that. So, like, my son is now Adam. My son was like Adam chilling in the garden, but he had to inherit my sins. So he was cast out of that garden and brought here, where, there is suffering, and, the earth itself is cursed. So that was crazy. But yeah, I thought I'd share that. What else is cool? Oh, fuck it. Marker board time. Marker board time. Marker. Freaking shit cut off on me last time. Like mid video. Terrible. I should strike Mark Zuckerberg dead for cutting me off while I prophesied. Because, oh man, yeah. I gotta cut this one short, guys. I'm gonna cut it short, guys. Nope, psych, because I found my marker. Okay, it's back on, guys. It's back on. So, um, I feel left out, and I feel left out. So let's turn around. You guys don't even realize. I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you. Everyone. All 5 of you that have made it. Christ himself is probably the only one who stuck it through all the way. Like, I'm listening, Bob. You got one. How's it gonna work? How's it gonna work? Guitar. Lord knows I don't use it for anything else. Oh, baby, why you feel so down when you turn me down? You're not gonna work. You fucking monkey prick you. Yeah, it's not the most sound. It's not the structurally sound. What type of shape are you dealing with? Oh, baby, when you turn me down. You monkey prick you. All right. So, so where does the cross come from? I don't know, but I had this crazy theory that came to me as like a download from like above when I was high on meth. So, so scientific fact, right? No, but it could make a good prompt for a sci-fi creative writing assignment. And I understand the assignment. Ooh. So, crucifixion as a method of execution is age old. I want to meet the monkey prick who fucking figured it out because the message it sends, the vibration that's conjured within everyone who views this symbol is like undeniable. The power is undeniable. When you see a man tortured to death meet his end by one of these, we we have to give credit where credit is due. Okay, the great impaler, Vlad Tepes of Dracul, um, the true original dragon lord. Crucifixion, the crucifix, comes from a word called crux, crux, which is synonymous with a word cruz, cruz, which means spear, a spear. Shink, like the one that ultimately ended our guy. Um, oh, what a torturous end! I can't stop thinking about it. How they got our boy Jesus. I mean, Yeshua. You know, and my buddy Alton goes on and on and on about um, how like Jesus was sweating so bad that he started bleeding from his brow, and that was just the beginning. Then they cat o' nine tails his ass, you know, ripping him to shreds. That aspect covered this brand of sin and this torture that he went through, that he suffered, covered this section of your sin. Because, oh, the many sins that compile to form the human story. It's like never ending. But every torture that Jesus suffered covered, an aspect of your sin. And by the time Jesus or Yahshua met his end, he had been tortured so much that, yes, he paid for all of our sins. And that is as the story goes. But one of those tortures involving a spear to the gut, which like may have been what did him in. But I'm not sure. I have to rewatch The Passion. But so crucifix used to be crux aprux or something like that, which means dang it, some kind of spear, death by spear, an impalation. You got to think, this ain't nothing more than sticking somebody up on a stick to die. Who's the OG of that? Vlad the Impaler. And I don't know. I think some scholars are pointing towards the possibility that Jesus's crucifixion was a lot more crude than we may believe. Some people are saying that Yahshua was crucified on a dang stump. They couldn't even find a proper stick. There's a story of home dude who was like, "Hey, I'm not worthy to die the death of Christ." So they were like, "All right, bet." They crucified him upside down. Like, these people were wild. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Something you should know about the great many impalations of Vlad the Impaler was this spear, this crux aprux, would be driven right up yo ass. They would impale you through your ass, and it would come out your mouth. So, yeah, it would look like this. But not for the reason you think it. See, this part goes up your ass. And these, the two arms extend, those are your arms, baby. Those aren't just posts, like, put there. This is you after that. And I'm just saying, it seems like the act of crucifixion, which has the word spear right in the title of it, was inspired by the great impalations, putting your enemies on a stick for the world to see. And I've heard people argue in favor of Vlad the Impaler. Be like, hey, he wasn't all that barbaric. He wasn't all that barbaric. But he knew what was effective. Guys, I'm looking at crucifixion as a very powerful magical ritual. Okay? You take all these symbols, you know, the Fibonacci spiral, the all-seeing eye. All of these symbols, I believe, have a magical effect. You see this, I didn't have to say or hardly do anything. I just put this picture up in front of you, and already your mind is flooded with preconceived ideas that influence you in strange ways. Um, and depending on how we charge these symbols energetically, and we do this um, through like various acts of manipulation, mental manipulation. Basically a guy says, yeah, this means this, okay? And this means this. That's all it is. So it can be used as a weapon, you see. Fibonacci's great spiral has been used by the fucking enemy, okay? I'm talking about satanic pedophile pieces of excrement, okay? You look in the FBI files, they use the spiral. You'll find that sicko fucks use the spiral as a sign for pedophilia. Look it up. And you're going to take something as sacred, something as powerful, something as fundamentally universal as the spiral. This is the golden ratio. Nearly all organic life shows this, demonstrates this shape, this symbol in some way, shape, or form. And the adversary perverted it. I have a theory that the enemy perverts all things holy. They did this with pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? They did this with jerky. That's a new one. They're coming for jerky now. They did this symbol. Guess what else? Guess what else, guys? Y'all are going to hate me for this one. Remember that one? Okay, this is basically that, the spiral. Just look at this symbol and forget what you heard, okay? Look at the geometric marvel that it is. It's a symbol way more ancient than not any Nazi symbolism. This is supposed to be the swirling, the ever swirling energy of life is what it truly represents. I don't know what the fuck Hitler used it for, alright? But this one, the Holy Cross. Shit, I got one right now. Take that, forces of evil, for you are now witnessing the Holy Cross of Jesus. I love this thing. For a blessed life. This thing has got some power, okay? My landlord gave me this on Christmas. This is my Christmas gift. And he said, take this with you for a blessed life. He said that. He wrote that. And words are powerful. You know? I see this. See, what we're doing is we're taking these symbols back. We have the sovereignty to do so. And we make up all this. You make your own reality. Take with you what suits you and run with it, okay? A true shaman can take poison and be healed from it. You get what I'm saying? as gruesome as an image this may be, I'm sorry if you see it that way. I'm trying to show you that there's a different way to see all these things. Oh, and this has been not only blessed by a holy man, but it has been touched by congregations of believers. So there's power in that. But I think somewhere along the line, somewhere, things got pretty messed up. Things got messed up, man. Like, and I guess I'm pretty proud that Christians were able to take a symbol as gruesome as this and turn it into a positive. That's actually a beautiful thing. You know what else it reminds me of? Reminds me of a reticle, crosshairs. Think of, like, if imagine a gun and you're aiming at something, boom, headshot. So when this image is burned into your third eye, the the mental screen that's forever running in your head, you get that laid over. It's gonna. What does that do? It drives your mental focus so that you put that crosshair forward towards your destiny. And it's powerful. I close my eyes and I see the cross. Boom, the symmetry. Bam, dead center. The crosshair, the bullseye, is right on my third eye, right in the middle. So if you want to target, if you want to find enlightenment, if you want to target the third eye, all you need to do is close your eyes and envision the holy cross of Jesus and be enlightened, my friend, because it is a gift. Um, so, this live may be a wash, but I'm actually glad I'm getting some of this crap off my chest. Thanks for bearing with. As always, Bob Song from Roanoke. I love you. We're not through yet. Um, so the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes why? They're all named appropriately, right? Thursday is literally Thor's day. And the god of lightning and storms, Thor, based on different, what do you call them? Pantheons. The god of thunder, lightning, and storms has underwent many names indeed. Thor, Zeus, Baal, okay? Baal, the demon, Yahweh, basically one common theme is like the god of storms is the god, you know, he's the one. And in Christianity, there's like really no difference. So we have Thursday in honor of Thor, the thunder god. There's power in that. Tuesday, I think somehow honors Venus, god of love. And Friday is the worship of the patron Saint McDonald, the patron saint of French fries. And and then we come to Saturday, the Sabbath day. The Sabbath is Saturday. The Jews know this, and yet the Goyim worship on Sunday. This is uh, this is an epic fail. This is like a mistranslation. This is like somewhere we got it messed up. The true day of worship is Saturday. And what day is more holy than Saturday in the park? All right? Constantly waiting for Saturday, man. It's the holiest day. But where did the name Saturday come from? Saturday is Saturn's day. The Saturnalia. The the damn, yeah, Saturn's day. Because these Jews, these phallic worshipping tribes of Israel, worship Saturn. And Saturn, guess what else? Is the Satan. Saturn, Satan. Satan's day. Like, guys, at some point we've been deceived, okay? And as if this world isn't topsy-turvy enough, they got us worshiping. They're trying to get us to worship Satan on his own day, Satan's day. How do I know this? Because, are you guys familiar with Jupiter? All right, we're talking about planets. The planet Jupiter has the red eye. The red eye of Jupiter. Kind of like that. Swirling red eye. The red eye of Jupiter is a constant and ongoing hurricane on acid. Like, Jupiter's red eye is a swirling gaseous hurricane of absolute chaos. But you know what else is cool? The swirling gaseous hurricane of chaos that is in on Jupiter. Have you ever seen this? And my roommates are gonna come. Piece of shit. And something about the perfect geometry of this storm in Jupiter, it forms a perfect hexagon. Like there's some swirling, there's some chaos, but then somewhere the math equals out. Oh my god, and there's order out of the chaos. There's perfect geometry and it forms. Y'all ready for this? The black cube of Saturn. dang, how? Draw a dang cube. Somewhere there. Uh-huh. Because the hexagon that is formed, guys, fuck it. Go look at Saturn, okay? There is a black hexagon. There is a black storm that is ever present, ever swirling in Saturn. Something about the gravitation. Saturn has one of the strongest gravitational pulls of any planet in our solar system, rivals Jupiter, Jupiter being the most massive. And these gravitational pulls affect you and affect us, even here on Earth. Okay? And at the center, there's the perfect geometric hexagon. But the hexagon is symbolic of so many shapes. You got like the pentacle and like the star, but you have the cube. And if you look at the cube from a certain angle, it forms the hexagon. Don't take my word for it. That's why these Jews have they wear a cube right on their head because they worship the cube. Because the cube is symbolic of how we are trapped within it. It's like a soul trap. It's like a mind fuck. It's another one of these symbols that get into your head. There's evil, wicked people that say, like, we, the Jews, control the storm. You think they control the weather on Earth? They control the storm of Saturn. That's why they tell you to think outside the box. The box is this material realm that they're trying to convince you that you're enslaved by. Um, and this is where they got us. This cross is also cube symbolism. Right here. It forms the cube. 1, 2, 3. The 6 sides of the cube. If you were to fold this here, 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 and then close the lid, you get a cube. This is an example of how they take something holy, flip it on its head, and pervert it. But you alone attribute the attention, the intention, the meaning, what it does to you, just like you would bless your food before eating it. Make sure this mental food is blessed by you before it enters your mind. Okay? I don't know how you can do it or pull it off, but it's something you must do. You must do. Be careful what enters this temple. And that's our time. 1 hour long. Has it really been an hour? And that's Bob's Esoteric Wisdom Hour. Thank you for joining. I'm going to turn the AC on because I'm sweating like a hooker in church. And, yeah. More like a pimp in church. All right. Ow. No, but that's, yeah. I don't know, but that kind of feels even worse. So, thanks for hanging around for another one. I love you. Tune in next time where I shave my head. All right.